In 1909, a US economist warned that educated women were committing race suicide. A century later, Elon Musk tweeted that the real threat to civilization isn't climate change, it's not enough babies. Between those two panics is the story of modern life itself. Every generation fears that the next won't show up, but this time, they might be right. The panic cycle. Fertility rates are falling in almost every wealthy country.
So I'm child-free by choice.
I'm 23 years old and I don't want to have kids.
People be like, you really don't think you're ever gonna want kids? You're not gonna change your mind? You'll probably change your mind. No.
In 1960, American women had 3.6 children on average. By 2023, it was 1.62, the lowest on record, below the replacement rate of 2.1. And this isn't just a Western thing. South Korea's rate is 0.72. The lowest in the world.
Because everybody's telling me that one day you would just wake up and then you will find that, you know what, I want to have kids. But that just never happened to me.
Back in 1909, Hoffman's essay Race Suicide in the United States blamed women's education and our selfishness. Because of course, it is always women's fault. Today we call it career choice or cost of living. But the accusation feels the same, that women broke society by wanting more than just motherhood. According to a generation of childless women, most childless women actually wanted kids. They just ran out of time, what sociologists call the coupling clock. By age 45, 1 in 10 still wanted a baby that they would never have. The panic has a pattern. First, blame women, then blame the economy. Finally, blame morality. But what if the crisis isn't any of those things alone? What if it's all of them collapsing at once? The economic trap. When demographers talk about delayed fertility, what they really mean is that the rent's too damn high. Economist Melissa Kearney found that the 2008 recession caused a lasting fertility crash. Younger people never caught up afterwards. Sociologist Pamela Stone linked marriage decline directly to economic insecurity. And UNC's Carolina Population Center showed that fertility intentions haven't changed since the 1960s. People still want about 2 kids, they just can't afford to have them.
I know sometimes things happen, but I just think that it's really selfish to keep having more kids when you can barely afford the ones that you have now.
The outlet also pointed out that not a single region of England is affordable for a single woman to buy or rent a home. Byline Times took it further, accusing the press of misreporting the birth rate story and ignoring policy. Further research agrees. Government incentives barely move the needle. So it isn't a baby shortage, it's an affordability crisis. Duh. The partner deficit. Even if you can afford the stroller, you still need someone to push it with. Across the West, marriage rates have collapsed. Sociologists have been calling it the relationship recession. Writer Rhiannon Lucy Coslet argues that the real issue isn't women refusing marriage, it's men struggling with purpose, wages, and mental health. Her essay notes that many men aren't emotionally or financially equipped for partnership. The Telegraph, well, they didn't put it as gently. They said, men just aren't good enough. Yeesh. It is blunt, but statistically true. Men are more likely to be single, earn less, and die younger than women their age. I suppose it is kind of fun to shift the blame sometimes, but it does speak to all of the same economic issues. For women, even now, marriage and relationships are somewhat a financial decision. It has to be. Women generally earn less, have fewer opportunities, have to take more time off for childcare. So if you're planning a family, you need to be able to latch on to the male earning potential of somebody else. So when you're thinking about that economic gap and economic issues we just discussed, it affects men and women. In South Korea, the 4B movement,
what's 4B movement?
No dating, no sex, no marriage, no children, has become a feminist protest against patriarchy. Together, they reveal the same paradox. Women didn't kill marriage. Men didn't kill marriage. Inequality did. You can't fix the birth rate if no one's getting laid. We need time off work. The meaning void. So even when money and relationships line up, there's the bigger question. Why bring a child into this world? Journalist Christine Ember calls it the fertility crisis of meaning. Governments have spent billions. South Korea alone poured $200 billion into cash incentives, but birth rates keep falling. Because what's missing isn't money, it's certainty. As Ember writes, no amount of subsidy will inspire people to have children unless they believe doing so makes sense. Philosophers Anastasia Berg and Rachel Wiseman call it existential ambivalence, the idea that in a secular, anxious age, having children feels like throwing yourself off a cliff. Unheard's Louise Perry takes that argument even further. Low fertility correlates strongly with secularization. Religious communities have more children, not because of policy, but because of belief. She warns that if secular feminism celebrates low fertility, the future will simply belong to the religious. In other words, fertility isn't just economics or biology, it's faith in the future. And for some, the future itself is the problem. The baby wards. Every fertility panic eventually becomes political. Sociologist Leslie King traced how low birth rates push governments towards pro-natalist nationalism, where women are framed as biological reproducers of the nation. That logic is everywhere now. Hungary paying mothers to have Hungarian babies. US lawmakers folding anti-abortion politics into family policy. Israel tying childbirth to religious identity. Aging populations and shrinking workforces fuel demographic panic, and politicians seize it to resurrect old hierarchies, ancient hierarchies. That's how a fertility chart becomes a culture war. Low birth rates turn into dog whistles about race and immigration and traditional values. When governments say make more babies, what they really mean is make more of our kind. Or in the strange tech lord times that we live in, it means make more customers. The childless revolution. Put all 5 pillars together and you do get a paradox. People still want kids, but can't afford them, can't find partners, can't justify them, can't forgive the planet, and can't escape from being politicized for it. From Hoffman's race suicide to Musk's fertility tweets, every era blames women for the same structural collapse. But this generation isn't panicking. They're redefining what legacy means. Maybe raising kids isn't the only way to build a future. Maybe it's enough to raise better systems, better art, and better worlds. Sociologist Adachi called the US a shrinking nation, and maybe that's true, but shrinking doesn't always mean dying. Sometimes it means pruning, cutting back what doesn't work so something new can grow. Maybe humanity didn't stop believing in family. Maybe family stopped believing in us. If you want to see what the future looks like, subscribe, stick around, and let's keep questioning everything we were told to do when we grow up. I think the crux of this though is like, oh, you want me to have a baby? Who's paying for this baby? Who's paying for that? Make sure you subscribe. I do videos for you all week diving into interesting people, unpacking the culture wars, and honestly just trying to figure out what the heck is going on right now. Check out my deep dive into why white women keep voting for Trump. Pretty weird time. Bye.